All right, so let me start this video off by saying that it really pains me to see Spetsnaz leave us so soon. I think it's a very tragic death. And, the good die young. But anyway, I want the focus of this video to be a tribute, okay? So I want to make a tribute to Spetsnaz. I want to show you exactly how he affected my life. And the great content he brought forth about the male experience, male awakening, the dilemmas we have as males. So I'll start this off by quoting him and indirectly quoting Wilder. So the quote is, "The highest tribute to the dead is not grief, but gratitude." And if you watch Spetsnaz's video on grief, male grief, he ends that video with that quote. And that brings me to what I'm actually grateful for that he put out. I'm very grateful that I discovered Spetsnaz, that I had the privilege of listening to him for so long. I've been a listener since 2018 and early 2018. And at first I didn't know what to make of it because it's really deep stuff. And then I really got into it, and I've gained a huge appreciation for his content. And I really think he's more than just a video creator. I think he's a poet. I think he was an advocate for men. That's the best summation I can make about the person that he was. He was an advocate for men. He helped men out. He was a psychologist. He helped men in tough situations out. And he's got so much insight into the male psyche and the male spirit. I would recommend anyone listening to this to go back and watch all of his videos, because every time I watch one of his longer videos, I learn something. Every time. And so the major things that I learned from him are, I understand male psychology better. I understand that us males have a tough time communicating our emotions. And for me specifically, what it did to my path is it enabled me to some extent to let go of societal expectation, to have self-value. And here's a quote from him directly: "Establishing value internally versus seeking external validation. It's the difference between looking progressively at life or looking down the barrel of a shotgun." And that quote specifically stuck with me. And I remember during the pandemic, I was actually translating his videos into German because I wanted it to reach a broader audience, because I really was convinced, and I still am convinced, that it is really brilliant content that he put out. And man, it's so tragic to see him go, and I can't even believe I'm making this video. It's really so tragic, man. And I didn't think it would affect me this much, but fuck, it's like I've lost a friend. And I know the last 5 videos, the video series that he made, were about the friends that he lost during his life. And he paid a tribute to each of them. He told their stories. I can't tell you Spetsnaz's full story. I didn't have the privilege to talk with him or meet him, unfortunately, although that was something that I wanted to do. Well, I guess we'll meet in the next life, brother. I guess we'll meet in the next life. Just didn't make it this time. So another thing that Spetsnaz really honed is, how men are disadvantaged and how it's overlooked by society. And it's mostly an emotional war, right? It's not like we can talk about how men are disadvantaged in this avenue and that, education, legally, what have you. But bottom line, it begins in the home. It begins and ends in the home. And it starts with, basic interactions, everyday interactions, and just people's attitudes, right? He talked about base motivation, base instinct of human beings for survival, right? So the man has to be strong, right? And that's why we aren't allowed to express emotion the same way as women do. A man who's crying is seen as weak, less than, and we're always told to just bite the bullet and man up, basically. And that's why male suicides are as high as they are. And man, I just hope, Spetsnaz, that you had a good life. I hope that you live to the fullest. I was watching your videos from Thailand, and I know that you really enjoyed being there and learning about their culture, and you shared so much valuable information on monks and a different way of looking at things from a Thai perspective. I really appreciated those videos too, those later videos. And yeah, if I could sum up Spetsnaz value that he added to my life in a couple of sentences, I would just say he gave me a backbone, he gave me confidence, and he gave me a vision for myself where I dictate the terms of my own life. I live my life on my terms with conviction and with very high moral standards for myself and others. And ultimately, it goes back to Stoicism. To me, Spetsnaz was not only a poet and in some ways an author, because he'd make these big, long videos that really are works of art, but he was also a philosopher. He was a Stoic philosopher, and well, he dabbled in various philosophies, in some way existentialist, but yeah, he overall, I would just sum it up like that. He was a philosopher, and he had a huge heart, and his heart really went out to men, because he went through some life-changing events in his life that brought him to a point of self-reflection. And he used his own challenges to help out males. And I really, really appreciated the videos he made about sharing different perspectives. He would share a perspective from a film such as Heat. I love that series of videos that he made about masculinity in film. He shared a Japanese perspective, Yukio Mishima, and his view on life and death, and it was just fascinating stuff, and it's still out there mostly, whatever hasn't been removed or censored. So what I can tell y'all is just a tough time for me, because this year we lost Gonzalo Lira. That was a tragic event, and I'm still mourning his loss. And then I lost a loved one. And now, just this past month, we lost Spetsnaz, which is a huge loss. And, brother, your memory will come along with me wherever I go. I will always think of you, because I wouldn't be the man that I am today without you. And I think that, more men would feel the same way. And I remember him saying, after he removed his YouTube channel in 2018, he mentioned that he didn't think that men really benefited from his videos. But what I can tell you is, with 100% certainty, is that I benefited from it. 100%. So, for whatever that's worth, I wanted to put that out there. And I might just roll a clip of him at the end of this video, because he had a way with words like I don't. And I feel there's very few, if any, men out there who are advocating for male freedom and male autonomy as much as he is, or he was, and are so articulate at the same time. So we lost a true gem of a human being. And yeah, he touched a lot of hearts, and he will be missed. He will be missed a lot. So rest easy, Spets. See you in the next life.
And in terms of helping men first need to be able to acknowledge their vulnerability. Because once a man owns that, he can address his fear and his lack of connection. And that's when a man truly feels the confidence to create change in his life. By accepting his vulnerability, he grows in strength and in self-acceptance. His confidence increases, and so does his capacity for introspection. And if at this point he shakes off the shackles of societal expectation, this quite literally can be his second birth, where he effectively reassesses his life and lives by his own terms. And that, to me, that's a definition of masculinity.